Is Therapy Tuesday. Dr. Geraldine Tan coming to us live from Denmark. Good morning, Dr. Jerry.
Good morning. I don't know how to say good morning in Danish, so I'm not even going to try.
That's okay.
What time is it in Denmark?
It is 2 a.m. and it's 15 degrees in Denmark.
Wow. Nice. It is 8 a.m. here and 45 degrees in Singapore.
45 degrees.
45
Seems like a
degrees.
stretch, but also possible.
Yes. So, Dr. Jerry, today we're talking about
Yes.
angsty teens who have a voice. So basically all teenagers.
Yes. So angsty teenagers, there are two parts to it. So we're talking about teenage behavior because so many parents, so many teachers, so many people out there just keep labeling that age as a time bomb year or those years as time bomb years. They find them like an enigma. They don't know how to deal with them. So let's try and figure these teens out, shall we? And then about having a voice.
Why are these teens angsty?
Okay, so developmentally, they are at that stage where they are quite confused. They're starting to get to know their bodies, and weird things are happening to their bodies. And I'm seeing, oh my God.
Yes, I know. You're
Someone
seeing
just snuck in.
Somebody just snuck
Somebody
in.
just snuck in. That's right.
Snuck in is the word. There he is.
Hello.
Not very
Good
subtle
morning.
either.
Oh my God, I just woke up.
We didn't notice.
Oh gosh. I'm still a bit groggy.
Is it the blonde hair?
The peroxide got
Actually,
to
yours is
his
blonde. Mine is not.
Yours is-
Mine is like white.
Okay. No, not
Whiter
blonde.
than
lah.
FD.
Type of blonde.
Okay, if you want to see what they're talking about, you got to join us on the Big Show TV. Good morning, Glenn.
Are we on the Big Show or the Big Show TV?
the Big
The
Show
Big
at the
Show.
moment?
Oh, we're on the
Show.
radio.
Yes,
Good
we
morning,
are.
ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning. Okay, so
I'm here.
why don't we head to the Big Show TV and have more fun and continue this conversation with Dr. Jerry. Here, kicking off 8 o'clock is Benjamin King, Rock Bottom Blues. This is his latest one featuring James Reid.
Good
Now
morning.
you can take over.
I thought we were on the Big Show TV.
No, not
we
yet.
are now.
we are.
Goodness.
Okay, so Dr.
Alarm didn't
Jerry.
go off. So how, Jerry, I need to talk to you now.
I can.
Why did I oversleep?
He needs melatonin. Let me guess.
No, the alarm just didn't go off.
Didn't
I know.
Okay,
It
okay.
happens.
Too much.
Hello, Daphne.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
He's just
FD looks
catching up.
very serious right now. Okay, what's up?
No. I'm fine.
He didn't even acknowledge. He didn't even say, "Hey, good morning, bro."
He's
I
angry.
was the first one who said good morning to you.
Okay,
You didn't
okay,
He's
hear
the
me.
one that called you like 400
No, I know.
times.
And after I called as well. Then after I called, I spoke to the boss. As well.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
Okay. Go on.
Let's get down to it, Jerry. So, as I was asking just now, why are these teenagers angsty?
Yeah, and I was saying that they are at a very confused age. They are starting to get to know themselves. There's a little bit more awareness. There's a little bit more conceptual thinking, higher order thinking, but not much, right? So they are trying to figure out what to do with it, and they think like, I'm big already. I'm a big person already, but they're not quite big, and they know a little bit, but they don't know a whole lot. But they want to believe like, okay, I've got this, so they get very irritated when people come in and tell them what to do. So, it's like when you think you've got it, it's just like driving. When you think you've got it and someone is at your ear telling you, no, go left, you stay in the lane. And you get so irritated with the person, right? So it's kind of a similar feel with teenagers where they are trying to individuate and encroaching into their space.
Daphne, were you a angsty teen? Since you're the youngest amongst us.
I think,
Most recent.
Still fresh.
I think there were definitely parts of my youth because I knew what I wanted to do, but my mom was obviously not on board. No mom would want. I don't wish the journey that I've been on to anyone, and yet I do, like the good parts at least. But I remember a distinct like argument that we had because I never really stand up to my mom. I just like, okay, I try to be a good teen, right? But then I'm very opinionated in specific things like what I want for myself. So I remember like begging her, having this like very arguey conversation where I'm just like, she's like, I can see you running, you're gonna hit the wall, and I need you to knock, you know, I need you to knock because I don't want you to hurt yourself. And I looked at her and I was like, you need to just let me run to the wall. I mean, that's the angstiest I ever got with my mom, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But isn't it also like hormones? Because all their hormones are all over the place. I mean, that plays a big part, right?
So we always blame the hormones, but yes, in part it is true, but it is also a time where, if you think about it, parents are also at a different developmental life stage. So they're going through a lot. So many times when the children are teens, parents are at that peak of their career and they are really, really busy. So they just want to get things done. You know, and these teens have a mind of their own and they're not following instructions. And the parents have forgotten that these children have grown up. They can see, they can hear, but they still haven't let go of the little child. So the child that is infant in arms, that is in primary school, that would follow instructions, and they don't know how to let the teen go a little bit because they're so used for 12 years that the child simply just follows instruction. So one of the things that parents often say would be that, oh, my child has changed. In the past, my child is so guai and would listen to me. So, he would follow instructions. He would just follow whatever that I say. Now that the child doesn't listen, he's naughty. But is he really naughty? I don't know.
I think for Angel, it was the hormones.
Oh my gosh.
And all the
Jeez.
her guy friends at the time
Wow.
also their hormones.
It took you a whole 7 minutes to come
Yes,
in.
because I was waiting for Jerry to finish a statement. That was 7 minutes,
It
right?
would have been 5 minutes then.
I was waiting for my chance to come in right there.
Okay, just in all seriousness, Dr. Jerry, we cannot really put a line on when teenage years starts as well, because you said 12 years old and then they move on to teens, because some of them start at 9, some of them start at 8. I mean, the ages seem to vary quite a lot these days, especially because they're growing up so quickly.
Okay, so Angel will ask you that question again, okay? Stand by.
Okay.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. It's Glenn, Angel, Daphne, and the Flying Dutchman. Our guest for today is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room. Once again, good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, and it's very early morning here in Denmark.
Yeah, good morning, and thanks so much.
You're in Denmark?
Get with the program.
Yeah,
come
Why
on.
didn't anybody tell me that?
Catch up,
We
Glenn. Catch
opened
up.
with that. It's 2 a.m. where she is right now.
I'm looking at you, I'm going like, hey, your office looks a bit different. Denmark, huh?
Yeah, she is in Denmark right now. And,
Very nice.
And that's why Dr. Jerry was actually inspired by The Little Mermaid, the latest Little Mermaid movie, because it was a movie that she watched on her flight from Singapore to Denmark. And that's why we're talking about angsty teens having a voice today.
Ah, was the mermaid angsty?
That's what I asked her early on as well.
You know, that movie shaped a lot of my life.
Did it really? Wow.
Yeah, because she wanted to be part of a bigger world.
She
and
wanted
I
legs.
Well, yeah, I guess I wanted legs and play, and I wanted to see the world. You know, and
Yeah.
I feel like everyone, my family was like, "You stay in Singapore, just do everything in Singapore," and I was like,
You
"Up
can't
where they
grow."
walk, up where they run."
I've never watched The Little Mermaid. You've got a question for Jerry.
Yes, I do.
Never.
I do have a question for Dr. Jerry. So
It's a girly show.
We talk about angsty teens, and we always we'll let that comment slide.
Oh my god!
We were talking about angsty teens, and we always say teenage years start at 13, childhood ends at 12, but it doesn't really, right? Because kids nowadays, they seem to grow up so quickly. Girls are getting their periods way earlier as well.
Is that a thing?
Yes, of course. Yeah, girls are getting their periods way earlier. They get them some of them get them at 9, 10 years old. It's no longer 15 or 14 years old, so they're forced to grow up and then become a teen because they come of age,
That's a
which
big
is what
deal, is it, that part?
it's
huge.
It's coming of age.
It's coming of
right
age,
in some societies you're ready to get married, right?
Is there a scientific reason that they're getting their periods earlier?
I don't know
Yeah,
about
too much
this.
fast food.
Yeah, it's possible. It
Yeah.
is possible.
No,
Processed
no, no,
food.
no.
Early as in
It
how
is
early?
possible. No,
I mean-
some get them at 9.
That's which is crazy. They're not supposed to get them till they're teenagers.
Okay, now
Yeah.
we'll go around the room. At what age did you?
I
No,
can't
anyway,
remember.
Dr. Jerry said it's
that's not
not.
the topic now. This
Okay.
is Dr. Jerry. So
Your thoughts.
So what about you, Jerry?
No,
Okay. No, okay.
oh my
Glenn.
gosh, that's inappropriate. So, Dr. Jerry, is it like, should we be putting a number on when teenage years start, or should we just judge by behavior?
So teens are teens, right? Biologically, when you're 13, it's a teen year. So, but when we are talking about attitude, we're talking about how they perceive the world and how they want to deal with things around them. Then that mindset, that approach can be quite young. So it's not just not just the physical, but also the emotional, that whole perspective, I suppose, of the world, the perception of the world can start quite young. So at 9, 8 is kind of pushing it, but 9, 10, we call them the tween years. So they still are quite kiddish, but yet we catch glimpses of that sassiness, that attitude, that angstiness that we say is a little bit more angry. We call them angsty, but they are angry sort of behavior. Yeah, so there's a lot of dreaming, a lot of fantasy that is slightly different from a younger child's like fantasy world. So I think I love what Daphne said about wanting to be in that big world, wanting to run, wanting to try everything. So the teens do want that.
But why is it? Why is it every time you girls have your period, you're angsty? Why?
What's
Can't you,
I
like-
can explain this.
But that doesn't do with the period, Glenn.
Okay.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
but that's exactly what we're talking about. At the age of 9, they're a little angsty and
You
all
know
that.
what?
No,
There is a- there
it's
is a-
not only when they are having their period.
Oh my
But
god.
you always hear that, right? What's wrong with her? Is she having a period?
Oh.
Things like that.
Wow.
There's a machine that can mimic a woman's period that we should
For
buy
men.
for Glenn.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can experience just what it feels like one day out of a month. We have to do it a couple of days in a month.
The cramps, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they do have
Oh,
that.
I will definitely be agitated and irritated.
There you go. You
Okay.
just answered all our questions.
We are speaking to Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room. It's 8:13.
Kiss 92 time check brought
Dr. Jerry, we're getting all these comments on our Facebook page. Chris from Winston, and they're talking about listening to the child. They're talking about trying to understand the child, and I get that. But Chris brought up a very interesting point. We have to listen. We have to try and understand them, but we also still have to keep guidelines. But
Yes.
these teens want no guidelines.
Oh, okay.
Not all
So
teens, come
Yeah,
on. That's
that's a
stereotyping
generalization.
all
Generally,
teens.
generally, most
Yeah.
teens don't. They want complete freedom. Let's be honest.
Well, your daughters were like that.
Yes, to a certain extent.
Oh.
Yes.
I think that that's changing though, because if teens really didn't want any guidelines, why would they be on TikTok all the time, on Instagram, learning what to wear from YouTube? No, they do want
No, they
instructions.
don't want
just don't want
guidelines.
it from.
They don't want it from their parents.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And TikTok doesn't know how to bring you up, but
Absolutely.
your parents do.
Sometimes some parents don't
Some
have the
parents
best way of leading.
That's
No,
true.
that's true.
That
Yeah.
is
So
true.
what?
Some parents don't care.
Yeah.
So what should parents do then, Dr. Jerry?
I mean, these teens, right? They want to individuate from the parents, but you'd be surprised. So many of them. Sometimes I challenge them, right? Because they really give their parents the attitude, especially in sessions. And right in front of them, I say, okay, you know what? If you don't want your parents, you hate your parents so much, okay lah, then you stay alone, law.
Yeah, move
and
out.
they go, huh?
Yeah, that's the
They
way to
are
go.
They are the ones that say, no, I still want my parents there. And I said, but you want your parents there. You're getting so angry with them. You tell them to get out of your hair, but what do you mean? And this is what some of them share with me, those that are able to articulate. They say, I just want my parents to be quiet there. I just need to have them just at the side, and I understand what they're saying. Daphne is laughing.
Yeah, wait, maybe Daphne can relate. Okay,
Wait,
Daphne.
no, I just think it's funny how the tables have turned. Because when I was a kid, and I don't know about you guys, children are meant to be seen and not heard.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
of course.
Now
yeah.
all of a sudden, the parents are meant to be seen and not heard. You see how the tables have turned.
In a way, but I understand what they're saying. Parents are my safety net, and I want to know that I can go back to secure base. But I don't want them to tell me what to do. Let me try, let me fall, but let me also know that you will catch me when I fall. And that's what many teens are. I mean, they share.
But I feel what a lot of parents forget is that they were teenagers at one point as well. And when they
Yeah,
bring up
they
their kids,
forget.
they completely forget about that. They just want to say, oh no, don't do what I did when I was a kid. Don't do this, don't do that. I've made that mistake and all that. But then if you sit there and if you put yourself in your teenager's position, teenager's shoes, and see it from their perspective and then approach it from there, I feel the communication will be a lot better. Glenn's looking at me like he doesn't understand what I'm saying.
No, if I were a parent, I think
You'd be
because
a helicopter
I'm
parent.
wiser. You see, I don't want you to make some kind of mistake and then you die.
No, it's not about
It's
saying
like-
go make your mistakes,
Yeah.
but it's about remembering what you did when you were a
Yeah.
kid,
Okay.
and then sort of walking in that
perspective.
teenager's shoes with the adult knowledge. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
wiseness from being an
I-
adult, the
I-
experience from being an adult.
I get what you're saying, but the kids are still going to say your time was your time. This is my time.
Which
It's
is also
different.
true.
Which
It's
is which
different.
is
It is-
true.
it is different.
Yeah.
Times are different.
But I think that's where communication comes into play, right? Because I think now as well, parents are a lot more open with their kids.
Yeah.
That's something that I feel like my parents and maybe me were like in some middle generation where they were open to it because they migrated to Australia, then had my younger sister and I. And because of that, they were in an environment where parents actually listened to their kids, even though they grew up in a
Asian society.
yeah,
here.
super like no, we're not meant to be heard. We don't have an opinion. We just follow the rules. And I saw my parents kind of like shift and have to adjust because they brought us up in a kind of Angmo environment where we
Western,
had
yeah.
a voice, and so we would watch our classmates and stuff like scold their parents sometimes, and we were like blasphemous, No, my father would kill
So you're
me.
saying this Angmo environment is the problem.
No. I'm saying that everyone needs to adjust and everyone needs to communicate. Because if you communicate your needs,
Right.
then your parents
I
are
believe
just
communication.
older.
Communication is very, very important. And some Asian parents, they
Don't communicate.
they don't communicate
at
that
all.
well.
Yeah.
They should learn a little bit.
Yeah.
FD is Western.
Yeah.
FD is considered, although he's Asian, but then his style is quite Western. I
Yeah.
think bringing his kids up. Okay, let's continue to talk to Jerry on. No, not yet.
No, it's
Okay.
3 minutes.
Okay, very good. There's still some time.
Wake up. You need some coffee?
Yes, actually I do.
Why don't you-
I absolutely
Now,
need
now's
some.
the perfect
some
time. Go and get
Really?
your coffee. You have 3
Okay,
minutes. Go
okay.
and get your coffee, and then we'll
Alright,
talk to Dr. Jerry.
You're doing so well even though you're struggling.
Yeah, yeah.
Jerry,
not
let me
doing that
ask
well.
you this. Jerry, let me ask
Oh,
you
yeah,
this.
actually, it's almost time.
Now, we've been talking about this, and I think this is a very important point. Communication. Now, it's
Yes,
said that
yes.
we need to listen to our children. We need to listen to the
Yes.
teenager. We need to listen to this person with angst so we understand and we can guide them. But is it not true
Yes.
that this teenager
Yes.
with angst needs to stop and listen to the other side as well?
Easier said than
Yeah,
done.
exactly. What are you going to do? Stop and listen? You can't. You can't shake them.
No, but what I'm saying is, how do we help them stop and listen to us as well?
Get their friends to tell them.
Send them to Dr. Geraldine Tan.
Because they never listen to their parents, get their peers to tell them.
I will send
Okay,
all my kids to Jerry.
in
All
in
0
order
of
for
them.
them to listen, for these teens to listen, the parents, first let's start with the parents. The parents need to then understand they need to release a little bit and not use all the expectation or not have all the expectations on the child. And we say it like they are boundaries with the best of intention, but the teens feel like it is a stranglehold. They feel like they are in prison, right? and they are fighting against it. So it comes out in their behavior where they are resisting it, they are pushing it away. So we see the behavior as slamming doors, as the singular yes, no, the huffiness. And when they are huffy with us, or they are a little bit short with us, we then say, why are you behaving like that? Why are you so angry? Why are you so grumpy? And that's what the parents say. And what that does to the teen is they get even more annoyed. They might not be angry, but they can be more annoyed. So it compounds the issue, right? So, if we are not listening to the child, if we want to understand the child, then we need to really stop and listen to what their behavior is. And the children will listen to us because they're not running away. They are staying there, but they don't know what to do with their emotions. They don't know what to do with their will, and they are waiting for us to guide them. But if we keep just slapping their hands, they don't know that the pot is hot. They just know that we are slapping their hands, right?
Oh, so let them get burned.
No.
Wait, I have a question for you. I have a question for you when we go back on air, though.
Okay.
As a parent,
I ran away from home so
Okay.
many times.
Is it?
Yeah.
I never ran away from home.
I've never ran away.
No.
I wanted to join the circus.
I'm like so hard
And you
out
kinda
there.
did.
Mao. Okay, going back on air. Traffic. Good morning, Singapore. Welcome to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. It's Glenn, Angel, Daphne, and the Flying Dutchman. Our other darlings are in the studio as well. Shalini, Susan, as well as Cheyenne. I have to admit, for those of you who are just tuning in and, you left for a little while and came back and suddenly saw me here, I overslept. This is the first time I've actually overslept, and this one I'm telling you, Jerry, so maybe you can help me out because I feel, quite bad about this. The last time I overslept this badly was about 7 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's
Wow.
okay for a track record.
Exactly.
That's not bad.
You're
No, I don't know
allowed.
why I
So-
did not hear my alarm this
You're
morning.
allowed. You were tired, maybe.
It happens.
Well, I did doze off at about 3-ish.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But usually, even if I doze off at 3-ish, I
You're still
still
here.
hear the alarm. This damn alarm! I gotta
Okay.
change it.
You need a
to
new
Guns
phone.
N' Roses,
Oh.
Sweet Child of Mine, or Welcome to the Jungle, or something like that. Right now, it's like
Oh my God.
What?
Okay.
No wonder you're not waking up.
I just don't want to be like awoken, like.
But maybe that's what you need.
I think so.
One
Definitely.
time in 7 years, you're fine.
think,
You're
yeah.
okay.
Okay.
You're forgiven. So, Dr. Jerry, today we're talking about angsty teens. I want to ask you, as a professional psychologist, an award-winning psychologist, and as a mom of teenagers, are your a two-part question? Are your teens angsty, and how do you deal with them as a psychologist? Do you come from a professional perspective or a mom perspective?
When I'm with my kids, I'm mom. I'm not psychologist. But at the teens angsty, we label them as angsty, and they have gotten into the stage where they give me one-word answers.
But they're
Or
still so
two-letter
sweet. I've met the
answers.
both of them, Josh and Amber. Right? They're
are.
so sweet.
Yeah, they are. They are very, very sweet. And yes, when I'm not in a good condition or when I'm very, very tired, I get irritated by their responses. So when I get irritated, they get irritated. So they respond to my irritation. But if we think about it, and my boy was so they grew up with me, right? So they know how to answer me. So like, what's this two-letter answers, two-word answer? Turn to me and ask me, so how do you want us to answer you? And I get caught off guard, right? Like, oh. And then my girl, who is more articulate, would say, Mom, you asked it this way. It's a yes/no question. What else do you want me to say?
Oh, wow.
I wrote a whole chunk of things, right? I expected them to give me a whole chunk back. But, when I didn't realize, and it was all my expectation, I'm glad that they are able to tell me and call me out on it, to tell me
Yeah.
that, hey, it was just a yes, no question. What else you want to say? What other information do you need? Tell us and we'll tell you, right?
Wow.
Fair enough. That's
Some adults are
yeah.
like that,
That's valid.
and they argue.
It is.
It's very
It
true.
is.
But, Jerry, the other thing I think, and this is for parents who have very young children, newborns, 2, 3, 4 years old even, you need to
Yes.
build that relationship with them in order for you to be able to work through this angst. It starts long before the angst starts.
Well, yes, it is. But also a little trick would be, the angry behavior. So anger, I wanted to share with the parents and the teens out there, right? Anger or angry behavior is really just the topping. It's like an iceberg. Is what we see. So the slamming of doors, the loud noise, the curt conversation, is the top that we see. Underneath that is other things, other emotions, other words that are not said. So we want to know and we want to hear what are the other emotions. Oh, am I frozen?
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
But we'll
Okay.
continue to talk to you on the Big Show TV. Okay, Jerry? Up next, Sia. This is
Okay.
Give Me Love on Kiss 92. Funny, you were a little frozen, but then...
But the audio was
yeah, the
okay.
audio was okay.
Yeah. It was still carrying on.
Yeah, I think now you're frozen.
Now I think she's completely
Now
out.
totally
Blink.
frozen.
Blink.
Let us know if you're in trouble.
Oh
Jerry! Are you there?
Come back to
Pause
us.
Okay. It wasn't Michelle, my bell. Okay, where is she coming? It's something else. This is my alarm, right? It's
Let's
like,
hear it. Let's see why you didn't wake up. Is it birds? There, she's back.
Oh,
Dr. Jerry's
okay.
back.
I'm
Oh.
back. I'm back. Yeah.
Give us a second, Jerry. We're trying to listen to Glenn's alarm.
to see if it is worth.
Oh, it's so gentle.
Glenn, that wouldn't wake up anybody.
But it's
That
worked
sounds
all...
like a lullaby.
Yeah, so
It's
it's
good
all
though.
we need is love.
It's nice though.
By who?
I like waking up to something gentle. I can't
Yeah.
do jarring.
That's
Wow,
the thing.
no,
But I
mine's like-
completely did not hear this
Dude,
today.
it's one time in 7 years. It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's
It's
okay.
fine. If it's 7 times in 1 year, we'd tell you to change it, but it's not. So, Dr. Jerry, are you back with us? Hello?
She is.
I
Yes.
think
Okay.
so.
Jerry's back. Denmark,
dear me.
so
Denmark,
nice.
yeah.
Denmark. I want to go to
Yeah,
Denmark.
but yeah, I suppose the angry behavior. So anger hides other emotions. That's what I always share. It's a emotion that is tag team with other emotions. It could be guilt. It could be fear. It could be, I don't know, frustration, even joy, embarrassment. So if we forget to hear what is beneath it, we miss dealing with that emotion. We are only reacting to the
Right.
angry emotions.
I love that though. Anger is always tied to another emotion. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Can I just say that I'm feeling better now? Like,
Good
hey,
for you.
hey,
Sure.
hi,
Are you
everyone.
awake?
Good
He's finally woken up.
Glenn.
Good woken up.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Hello. Hi.
Whoa,
How's it going?
good now.
Yeah. Okay. Good. He's awake.
Okay, Jerry, Joel on our Facebook page has said this. I suspect that mollycoddling might be one way to create even more issues when a child hits that teenage time. What do you say to that?
It depends on what is mollycoddling. Yes, there are sometimes some parents infantilize their children, so they do everything for their children, right up to feeding their children, or doing anything for their children. So that might cause issues later on, but paying attention to their emotions is actually not. So sometimes, you hear, so for infants, you hear the older generation say, don't run to your kid whenever your child cries. But that's the only way your child can communicate. And, we want to go and we want to attend to them to find out what their needs are. So they know. So I would always
Maybe they just
encourage
need a
parents-
nice cup of coffee
Much like you. Should we model coddle you as Molly coddle
it's not
you as
about
well?
me. Don't.
No coffee
it's
for the
not
kids,
about
okay?
me, but,
No coffee for
you
the
know,
kids.
maybe kids need coffee too. What do you think?
No, that sounds like a terrible idea.
But Dr. Jerry, I mean, sometimes the kids are just crying for attention, and I'm not talking about attention like they need some help. I'm talking about like naughty attention, you know, which happens with babies and stuff.
Sure.
What?
Not me. No, but to your point, my niece and goddaughter, she's 6, right? She does have a tendency to cry a lot, and I think she's genuinely crying, but it's more out of fear. Like she's kind of trying to get herself out of trouble, you know? And the thing is, she's probably made a very minor mistake that no one would be really that upset about. We could all overlook it. But then all of a sudden it becomes this thing with the lower lip tremor, and then her eyes get red.
She's kind of manipulating the
I don't think,
situation.
but I don't think she intends to like be manipulative.
They
but
know
it
at
is.
that age, though.
my
They already
God.
know how to manipulate.
And all the men are thinking, hey, that's like my wife.
I know, but then the
I see
tears.
the lower lip quivering.
I
as
was
well.
like, wow, she watched so much K-drama. I
No.
literally, it's because
It's manipulation.
She
They
didn't,
know.
yeah, she didn't do anything that wrong, but I was reprimanding her for doing something that what seemed like she knew what she was doing. You know, kind of like
Yeah.
a cat, like kind of knock stuff over. I was like, why did you do that? And she looks at me and she all of a sudden like tears start streaming. I was like, wow, are you a Korean actress? Because this is like amazing. And she did not get my sarcasm. But I wonder, you know, is there some way to communicate to her that is not the right thing to do?
Was she embarrassed?
As in, she doesn't need to react that way.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or more like she does because she does it out of fear, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna I'm only reprimanding you to tell you this is wrong.
Yeah.
You're not in trouble.
I'm not gonna smack
It's
you across the
done,
face, kind
you
of
know,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, but
And
some
no
people react
one-
like that. I think it's quite
Yeah,
natural.
So one of the things that I always say is to point out the emotions. So when you point out behavior, so I'm reprimanding you because, and you explain yourself, a 6-year-old or a teen might hear the words, but they don't understand because they are only listening to themselves, their needs, right? But if you call out the emotion, which you're an adult and you can see you are afraid, and just calling out the emotion will make a world of difference for them, you know. So you're afraid that what you did was wrong. Well, and then you share whatever your perspective is, makes a slight difference there. So the teens are the same thing, right? If we say, oh, I feel quite upset with you, or I feel disappointed, or I'm happy with you, or you call out their emotions, like, you know, I know you are feeling a little bit guilty. I know you are feeling a little bit embarrassed, and it's okay. You know, it tends to help them to make sense of whatever that they are going through, and then to be a bit more appropriate in responding to their emotions.
Yeah. And
That's
if
very
all
helpful.
else fails, well, actually, it shouldn't be if all else fails, but I think it does help also. I mean, if you bring your kids to church.
Oh. Well,
Okay.
I was thinking more about so when I was in therapy, my therapist was explaining the prefrontal
Cortex.
Cortex, yeah.
Yeah, and having the phenomenon of having an adult actually explain it to you to make sense of that emotion and situation.
That helped.
Right.
Yes.
Well, it helped me
Yeah.
even at like 36.
You want to bring that up
Yeah.
when
Oh, okay.
we go on air?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
I think that's interesting. Boy with uke. Uke. Out of reach. Boy with uke.
Ukulele.
That's right.
UK.
Uke, you know.
Okay.
Well, I was just thinking of Aikido, that's why. Anyway, you tuned in to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room, live from Denmark. She is in Denmark, by the way.
She is.
Okay, it's Glenn, Angel, Daphne, and the Flying Dutchman. Daphne has a question.
That's right. So we were talking about how communicating to the youth, and we're talking about troubled teens or angsty teens, and how to best communicate with them. And I remember in my own therapy sessions having this being told about how young people, or especially babies growing up, their prefrontal cortex is constantly being formed, right? It's not fully formed till you're like into your 20s or something like that, right? Am I right, Dr. Geraldine Tan?
We keep growing until we are about 20 plus. Yeah, so the development still continues.
And so that's
That,
why
that explains a lot of boys.
and so having
Thanks.
that those synapses happen can either be a self-discovery thing, or an adult that understands what you're going through or helps you connect the dots will help you not only with just getting through life, but understanding trauma and how it affects you and how it
Yeah.
gives you certain emotions or something like that. That's what I was told, or maybe explain that a bit more and how that will relate to communicating with teenagers in a better way.
So it's just not developed yet, right? So the emotional part, so the physical part is still growing, everything is still growing. So even the emotional, the social part is still growing, so that it becomes where they need boundary. We were talking about the parents or the adults giving boundary, because we need to fire the right sort of neurons, and we need to keep repeating that for them so that it makes sense for them and they know the right thing to do. I keep seeing your giggle, but I don't know why.
No, because we're just looking at you and smiling. You look so fresh, fresh as a daisy.
Fresh as a daisy at 2:00 in the morning.
You know how much we love you, right, Jerry?
Yeah.
Yes.
By the way,
and
I need a
to go,
therapist. Can I
right?
see you?
You cannot see her.
Why?
How many years I've been telling you
conflict
this?
of
So
interest.
calming. I
conflict
think
of
if I have a
interest.
therapist, a psychologist, right, I only want Jerry because
I think everyone
she
should go to
calms
therapy.
me down.
Looks like you're never going to have a therapist then. 'Cause it's never going to
Calms-
happen.
I love Jerry. Hey, if the husband Julian is
Yeah.
watching, of course I don't love Jerry like that.
It's a different kind of love.
Yeah, it's a different kind of
It's a
love.
professional love.
Okay, I'll see you next week then.
Okay.
I'll
with,
sit on your couch next week. I'll
with
lie down
that
on your
being
couch.
said,
No, cannot. Okay, cannot. Then she'll assign another therapist from therapy room
But she
for
will
me.
be here next Tuesday.
Are you coming in?
No, as in
we-
on the show.
we get free therapy every Tuesday.
No, that's not.
Yes, I think I
it's not
will.
the same.
Since it's after Denmark, I can come in.
Ah,
and
there you go.
Yay! Then we can go to the other. I just want to ask you, why is it all of a sudden I'm having problems sleeping? I've never
We're
had
back
this.
to this.
Maybe we can talk about that next week.
Yeah.
Sleeping?
Sleeping.
Sleeping
That's a big
issues.
thing for me too.
Yeah, maybe I have things on my mind. No, that's why.
It's possible.
Probably.
It's you people.
No, maybe it's us. Yes,
Us
it could be.
people.
We've got the
Okay.
topic for next week.
Jerry, I've just got one last question for you. I hear
Sure.
this a lot from children. Their parents are very conservative. They don't talk very much. Words like "I love you" are not used. Even things like "Have you had a good day?" When these teens come in and see you about their angst, should they be joined by their parents to help build that communication?
Yeah, so the communication can be interpreted differently, right? It doesn't just mean that the parents have to say "I love you." It doesn't mean that they can give more encouragement. They can learn how to give more encouragement, but it doesn't mean that they need to change their personality, because the parents may not change, but they can start to understand each other and to know the different communication styles, and they can then have a middle ground that they can come to with a deeper understanding of each other and to communicate their way. So it's not only one way that we can communicate.
Yeah,
We're
everyone
human
is different.
beings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, the family can come in together, and I love to do family therapy. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Jerry, we won't take up
Yes.
any more of your time.
She needs to sleep.
What
now.
time is it in Denmark right now?
It is 3:40 a.m.
Just
It's
nice.
2:40.
2:40.
2:40 a.m.
Perfect
Yeah.
time for you to go to bed. Okay, Jerry, any
And
last
I
words?
shall not snooze. Yes, so from The Little Mermaid of 2023, which is a different version from the Hans Christian Andersen version, there's a nice ending. And I think what struck me was this statement that the father said. And this is what the Ariel's father, King Triton, said to her at the end. You shouldn't have had to give up your voice to be heard. And he looked at her, and I thought it was so beautiful. So sorry for the spoiler here, but I thought this statement is really, really beautiful.
That's a nice one.
Ariel.
Ariel's such a
Ariel.
lovely name,
Same
isn't it?
name as Gargamel's
Ariel.
cat.
That's Ariel.
Slightly different.
That's how Sebastian says her name in though. Ariel. The
Ariel.
human world is a mess.
Okay, Jerry, thank you so much.
Okay. Bye. Good night,
Good night.
Glenn.
Good night.
Sweet dreams.
Sleep well.
Night, Jerry.